The king and queen of Eldoria were killed by Tyrus, the brother of Vagan, who then took over the kingdom. Princess Jane, Vagan's daughter, escapes into the forest. The goddess Elora tries 2 times to save the princess because of a challenge from the god Athra. Nadia, the goddess of evil, supported Tyrus. The princess found refuge with an old woman in the forest, whose son fell in love with her. Elora used a magic mirror to see who Tyrus's enemy was, and it showed Tyrus's wife. When time went backward, it revealed that Tyrus and Nickel were friends when they were young. Nickel is in love with Lewis, and Nickel introduces Lewis to Tyrus. Tyrus, mesmerized by Lewis's beauty. Tyrus takes Nickel with him to battle against a tribe and secretly killed him. Tyrus threatens King Vagan and asks Louise to marry him. Then he gets married to Louise. On their first night, Louise faints and falls to the floor. When Louise fainted, she could still sense what was happening around her even though her eyes were closed. She realized that King Vagan and the Queen were there. They lifted her onto the bed. She also noticed that the palace doctor had come and applied some medicine to her head. After that, she fell asleep. When she woke up in the morning, she saw her father next to her. She also noticed Tyrus staring at her from the side. Then, she asked her father to leave the room. And affectionately asked Tyrus, "Why are you standing there to come and sit?" Halder didn't understand Louise's actions, so he left the room. Tyrus sat next to Louis and held Louise's hands. Tyrus said kindly that he was sorry for being rude yesterday. Then Louise, looking at Tyrus with her magnetic eyes, she told him, "I am your wife, you have the right to do whatever you want to me." Louise quickly understood that Tyrus's weakness was his infatuation with her, and she decided to turn his weakness into her strength. So, she told him to leave and said she needed a break. When Tyrus turned to go, she asked him to tell her father to come here. Tyrus went outside, and Halder stood by the door. Tyrus asked Halder to go inside and then left quickly. He seemed happy because Louise had fallen in love with him. When Halder went in, Louise said, "I don't know what you'll do, but please tell Tyrus through the palace doctor that I need 3 weeks of complete rest." A chariot arrived and stopped at the beautiful foothills surrounded by valleys, hills, and green meadows. Tyrus stepped out of the chariot and extended his hand to Louise in the chariot, saying, "Take it slow." Louise took his hand and descended slowly. Once on the ground, she looked at Tyrus with a magnetic look and asked, "Why did you bring me here?" Tyrus replied, "Today, the doctor said you could leave the bed. That's why I brought you here today, by hand." Louise asked, "But why?" Tyrus explained, "I plan to build a grand palace for you here. How do you find the place? Do you like it?" he asked. Louise nodded and said, "It's nice." Tyrus continued, "You, the future queen of this country, deserve a mansion more beautiful than any other in the world. No other place offers the facilities that this one does. The world's best sculptors and architects will build this mansion for you. When you become the queen of this country, this palace of love will be ready for you," he said, as if floating in a dream. Louis still heard Tyrus calling her queen. She made sure Tyrus wasn't drunk that day and had a plan in his mind. So she asked Tyrus with a question mark, "When will you become the king of this country? Only then can I be the queen, right?" Tyrus replied, "When our baby boy is born. Then, the next day, I will become the king, and you will be the empress." Louis asked, "Then your brother?" Tyrus answered, "He ruled the country for many years. Now it's my turn." Louis understood his hidden intention. She realized that a man who had plotted to kill his best friend, Nicole, wouldn't hesitate to kill his own brother. Then she said to Tyrus, "Why do we have to wait for a boy? If you become a king, I want to be a queen too." Tyrus misunderstood her eagerness, thinking she also wanted to be a queen. He replied, "Be patient like me, until we have a boy." Louis asked again, "Why do we have to wait for a boy?" Tyrus responded, "I'll tell you, but keep it a secret," and whispered in her ear. Louise was shocked to hear that. She understood why King Vagan is still alive. The secret of why the greedy Tyrus has kept his brother alive so far has come out of his mouth. She was shocked knowing that whenever she gives birth to a boy, the next day he will kill Vagan's family. Without showing her shock, she softly said, "We will have a boy in 10 months and place him in your hands." Tyrus laughed and said to Louise, "So this mansion should be finished in 10 months, right?"